From his many dominant fights in the light heavyweight division to grueling matches in the UFC heavyweight division, where stamina and the ability to take punishment determine the winner, Jon Jones has shown how he's possibly the greatest natural talent in MMA history. The former 205er set a record in the UFC light heavyweight division. However, after his unremarkable but still unbeaten run at 205 pounds came to an end, Bones announced his heavyweight debut.
See what this shirt says? I Reebok. It says unbroken, baby. This team is unbroken. Let's go, baby. And still.
How happy were you that you were able to take him down not just once, but several times in this fight?
It felt great. I tell you, man.
Since the days of Cain Velasquez, fans have been clamoring for Jon Jones to compete against the UFC's 265ers. Unfortunately, neither that dream matchup nor a highly anticipated bout with Francis Ngannou came to fruition. Instead, Bones will face Ciryl Gane, the former interim heavyweight champion. At UFC 285, the two will compete for the vacant heavyweight title. While it may be the former light heavyweight's most difficult test to date, this video will talk about all of the reasons why he could win. Jon Jones is the first skilled kicker Ciryl Gane will face. Ciryl Gane is a force to be reckoned with in the octagon. His opponents fear his kicks, and rightly so, as they can deliver serious damage. In addition, his elusive footwork and defensive striking make it difficult for anyone to land a clean shot on him. As a result, many of his opponents get frustrated and overly defensive, leaving them unable to mount an effective offense.
It's over, Jon.
It's over.
You came back?
It is over. Yeah, you know what, Joe? I want to take this time to thank Daniel Cormier for being my biggest rival and motivator. Daniel Cormier, guys.
However, Jon Jones is a different kind of fighter. He's a dynamic kicker with an eye for weaknesses in his opponent's stance. Gane's wide-bladed stance leaves his lead leg exposed, and Jones is sure to take advantage of that with push kicks and oblique kicks. The repeated damage to Gane's lead leg will slow him down and make it harder for him to move around the ring. If Gane becomes too stationary, it will give Jones an opportunity to outstrike and out-wrestle him. Jones is a well-rounded fighter who can adapt to his opponent's style and take advantage of their weaknesses. It will be interesting to see how Gane responds to Jones's kicks and whether he can find a way to counter them effectively. This fight has the potential to be a real nail-biter, with both fighters bringing unique skills to the table. Gane's powerful kicks and elusive footwork versus Jones' dynamic kicking and ability to adapt. Only time will tell who comes out on top in this matchup of titans.
Unbelievable. And that's just going to be such a challenge in itself. So right now, I'm not going to call out anybody. I'm just going to go home.
Jon Jones' cardio and how it stacks up against Ciryl Gane's is a pretty big factor to consider in this fight. Gane is a heavyweight fighter who's renowned for his impressive endurance. However, there's a catch. His cardio is a bit finicky. In other words, it's highly conditional on the situation he finds himself in during a fight. If Gane can dictate the terms of engagement and keep the fight on his feet, he's a force to be reckoned with and will always have enough left in the tank to carry him through to the end of the bout. This is a principle that applies to many fighters who possess great cardio.
Hey, to break a record, to become a part of American history in this way, UFC history in this way, I wouldn't want it easy. I would not want it easy. If this stuff was easy.
However, Gane's cardio takes a significant hit when he's forced to wrestle and grapple with his opponents. This was evident in his fight against Francis Ngannou. In contrast, Jon Jones's cardio has been tested under every possible condition inside the octagon, and he has never been found wanting. Whether he's fighting on the ground or standing up, against strikers or grapplers, Jones always manages to keep up an impressive pace and outlast his opponents. He's able to maintain a high level of output throughout an entire fight. If Jones manages to force Gane to engage in wrestling and clinching, it's highly likely that the Frenchman will wilt under the pressure, just like he did against Ngannou. And even if Gane is able to avoid such a scenario, he'll still be facing an opponent with much better endurance than himself, which is a tough ask for anyone.
Yeah, Dominic did a tremendous job. Dominic, you have totally earned my respect, man. That was a great foot take. That was a great fight. I tell you what, I think.
But that's not the only problem. Let's have a conversation about Jon Jones and his wrestling skills, or lack thereof. Some people say his wrestling has gone down the drain, but truth be told, it was never out of this world to begin with. Jones was able to use his height and length advantage to execute some fancy moves, like the Greco-Roman style takedowns, which is just a fancy way of saying he used his long arms to throw people around like rag dolls. But here's the catch. As the saying goes, there's always a bigger fish in the sea, and in this case, there are always bigger fighters to contend with. So when Jones faced off against guys like Alexander Gustafsson and Dominic Reyes, who were just as tall and long as he was, his wrestling prowess took a hit. Thankfully, Jones has been training with none other than Olympic gold medalist Henry Cejudo. This guy knows his stuff when it comes to wrestling and MMA. If he can help Jones improve even half as much as he did with Yang Weili, then Bones will be able to dominate his opponent Ciryl Gane like a boss. Another factor that can't be ignored is championship experience. It's no secret that Jones has had more title fights than Gane has had UFC fights. This gives him an edge in the ring, as he's faced a wider variety of opponents and has had to adapt to different situations. But what does it really mean to have championship experience?
All right, I'm here with the champ. Uh-oh. Oh, he's got a broken foot. All right, have a seat. All right, champ. First of all,
well, for one thing, it means being able to handle the pressure of a high-stakes fight. When the championship belt is on the line, the intensity ramps up, and the slightest mistake can cost you dearly. Jones has been through this before and has come out on top. He knows how to stay cool under pressure and make the right moves at the right time. Another advantage that Jones has is his ability to pace himself. When you're fighting in a 5-round bout, you can't go all out in the first round and expect to have energy left for the later rounds. Jones knows how to conserve his energy and make it last for the long haul. He's fought in countless championship rounds and knows what it takes to come out on top. Gane, on the other hand, is still relatively new to the UFC. He's had some impressive performances, to be sure, but he hasn't faced the same level of competition that Jones has. He's yet to be put in a truly perilous situation and forced to fight his way out of it. This lack of experience could be a major disadvantage when he steps into the octagon with Jones. So, while Gane may have some tricks up his sleeve, it's hard to deny that Jones has the championship experience that will give him the edge in this fight. He knows how to handle the pressure, how to pace himself, and how to adapt to different opponents. Gane will have to bring his A-game if he hopes to take down the former champion. Ciryl Gane is a fighter with an impressive record, and he's got plenty of confidence to boot. But let's be real here. Will that confidence hold up when he's standing across the octagon from Jon Jones? I mean, come on.
Prostitutes? I beat you after a weekend of cocaine.
And prostitutes. Hey, wait.
Jeez.
I thought that first time was the first time you did cocaine. So wait.
We're talking about one of the most dominant fighters in MMA history here. Jones has an undefeated record, aside from that one time he was disqualified from a fight that he was otherwise dominating. Not only that, but he's looked invincible in some of his bouts. That's why it's tough to imagine Gane not being somewhat intimidated by Bones' wrestling skills, especially after his inability to stop the takedowns of a relatively inexperienced wrestler like Francis Ngannou. If Gane fails to learn from his past mistakes, he'll have already lost the bout before the fight even begins. Let's face it, everyone eventually loses to Jon Jones. So the question is Ciryl Gane next in line to suffer a defeat at the hands of the legendary Bones? And folks, that was all about how Jon Jones can beat Ciryl Gane.